Hello again painters, it's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com, and today I'm going to work on some tiles, but as you can see they've already been painted. But what I want to do is compare some finishes for tiles. So this is what I normally use on my artwork. This is the Polycrylic Gloss Protective Finish Varnish, and I use this on all the panels, the tiles, the canvases that I paint, and I love it. It goes on smooth, I never see brush strokes, it's self-leveling, it's glossy. I never have a problem with the silicone or anything with it, so I recommend this product. However, if I use it on tiles and then I put like a hot cup of coffee or something, it has like a slightly sticky effect that when I pick the coffee up, it's kind of stuck a little bit to the tile. So I want to try some other finishes I think might do better, and I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. So this is the normal varnish. Then I've got this one, and this interests me a lot actually. It's not overly expensive, it's a Sargent Art, so it's not exactly a premium brand, it's quite an economy brand. It's called Acrylic Gloss. It says you can use it as a medium and a varnish, which is interesting for a start because I might be interested in trying this as a pouring medium, so look out for that in a video coming soon. But from what I've read up, it creates an actual waterproof finish and very hard wearing and not tacky. So we will see. I'm going to give this a try. And then this is my third product I'm going to try. This is Mod Podge dishwasher safe, and again it has a gloss finish. It's supposed to be waterproof, very hard wearing, has almost like a resin like finish apparently, so they say, and can be used in the dishwasher afterwards, so it's got to be good. I'm thinking for use on tiles. However, this one takes 28 days to cure, so I'm going to start off with the video now, but it's obviously going to be more than a month until you see it on the site because I'll need to put all to one side. I'm going to mark them and then leave all of them for 28 days before I do a side-by-side hot cup of coffee test. So let me just clean up the tiles because they do have some silicone on, so I'm just going to wipe them over first of all, and then I will paint 3 and we'll see what happens. So I've marked up my tiles. I've got P for Polycrylic, V for Varnish, M for Mod Podge. I thought let's put those to one side. I'm just going to use the Polycrylic first of all because this is the one that I'm most familiar with. And I've got my usual varnish brush, and this is just really easy. I normally just put a great big splodge on, spread it about, tidy up the edges, and once I've got plenty on there, just kind of drag the brush across. I put a bit too much on, it might over enthusiasm there. And there we go. It's glossy, it's nice, it's quick, it's easy. I need to get some cups, and I'm just going to set this to one side now. So for the Polycrylic, I normally leave it a couple of hours before I'll put another coat on. So this one, oh, a bit wet. This one is going to be for our varnish. So this is the Sargent's Art Acrylic Gloss, and obviously it comes in a very different kind of container. Oh, it looks different too, it's very white. Okay, just say gloss varnish. It's very white. Okay, I've probably got way too much on here then, haven't I? I'm going to have to pour some of this back in. Goodness, yeah, it's very economical. I should have put nowhere near as much as that. Right, lesson learned straight away. See if I can get some of this back in here. I'm clearly not going to need anywhere near as much as that. Scoop some of it back in. I was getting all overexcited thinking I was painting there. Okay. So let's see, I've got a smaller brush, and obviously it looks very different so far. It's nowhere near as watery as the one that I normally use. And I can see the lines where I'm painting a bit more. I'm going to try and be kind of delicate because it's the first time using this. So I'm not entirely sure what's the best way to go about it, but we'll see. Go back slightly over this other way. Okay, that's looking better. I just put far too much on. Oh, now it's dragging a little bit where it's dried. Of course, it's very, very hot in here where I paint. It's I don't have any aircon, and living in the Caribbean, it's very hot all the time and humid too, and all this kind of stuff. You know, the paints and varnish and things. It's basically as soon as it's out and on the surface, it's starting to dry. Okay, so yeah, it's not very glossy at the moment, where I've put it on a bit too thin now, and now I'm getting, I don't know if you'll be able to see in the camera, I've got kind of drag lines in the gloss. I think I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'll learn from this and hopefully do a better job with the next coat. So that is the varnish. It'll also be interesting to see what that dries like, because it's very different to the first one. Okay, so the third one is our Mod Podge. This one says, use on all surfaces, blah, blah, blah. Non-toxic, dries hard, no tack, which is what I'm looking for. Roll bottle to mix, apply with a soft bristle brush. For glass, ceramic, da, 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 da. Apply finish to surface. While wet, place design onto surface. Well, I don't know what they mean by that. I guess you can use it as some kind of glue. I'm not using it as a glue, I'm using it as a varnish. So. Dry 1 to 2 hours, add 2 to 3 coats, allowing 1 to 2 hours to dry between coats, and then cure 28 days. Okay, so I'm going to use a different brush. And this looks very different again. I've already sneaked a look at this one, and this kind of, let's push those to one side. This looks, feels and smells like glue, so I'm not sure what this will be like, but let's give it a try. I've got some fluff on there. Okay, so it's also very white when it goes on, a bit like the Sargent Art gloss, and not like the Polycrylic I use, which has a kind of a white to it, but once it goes on and it's spread, it's very clear. So this feels kind of funny to me too. It smells kind of funny. It looks, feels and smells a bit like glue, so we'll see. And as I'm putting it on, I'm doing a bit of a slightly better job than I did with the Sargent Art, because I knew what to expect. I knew it was going to be different to what I was used to. Just run along these edges, and then I'll try and tidy up the top. I'm seeing the brush strokes as I'm doing it, and it's not looking very glossy. Well, it's glossy because it kind of looks wet, but you know what I mean? It's not self-leveling like the Polycrylic is. This does, I am seeing the brush strokes in it. Okay. But it's done. It's got its first coat anyway on there. So this one is the Mod Podge. It looks very different here. It's kind of thick and gluey looking, and again it's very white when it goes on, and I can see all the brush strokes. Even though I'm trying to be as delicate as I can, I'm using a very, very soft bristle brush. So anyway, let's put that there. So over the rest of today, I'm going to come in, and every couple of hours I'm going to give a new coat to each of these. Let me bring them in. So that all of them will get 3 coats. So 3 coats of the Polycrylic, 3 of the Sargent Art varnish, and 3 of the Mod Podge. And then I'm going to put them all to one side, cover them, leave them for 28 days. And I will report back later on, and we'll take a look and see what they turn out like. See you in a month. So welcome back. It's now a whole month later, and I've given my tiles a chance to properly dry and cure, because if you remember, the Mod Podge needed 28 days to properly cure. So let's take a look at the end results. First one, this is the product that I'm used to using most often. This is the Polycrylic High Gloss Protective Finish. It's a water-based clear finish that I put on all of my tiles and paintings, and it's great for artwork, but I was a little bit concerned about how it would work for ceramic tiles if they were going to be used as coasters for hot drinks. So this is what it looks like. Basically really, really smooth, really, really glossy. I find this so easy to use. I get really great results every time. I slather it on there nice and thick, and it kind of self-levels. I never see brush strokes. It's gorgeous. Then the next one is the Sargent Art Acrylic Gloss Varnish. This has got, as you can see, I think you can see in the glare from the light there, it's got a slightly lined finish. These other two products I found more difficult to use because I think I've been so used to using this one, layering it on really thick, just leaving it there, you know, the brush strokes disappear. So when I came to using these other two that were perhaps more of a traditional finish for paintings, I found it a little bit more difficult, and so I did get more brush strokes that you can see on here. It's still glossy, but when you hold it up to the light and when you run your fingers across, you can actually feel the brush strokes in this one. The next one is our Mod Podge dishwasher safe gloss, and this is the one that I had the most difficulty with. If you look at the lines on here, I tried over and over and I just could not get a good finish with this. I tried thick layers, I tried thin layers, whatever I tried, I just couldn't get rid of the brush strokes. Now that's probably user error. You know, like I say, I'm used to using this product, I'm not used to using this one. So I couldn't say exactly, I assume that not everyone gets a finish as bad as this, or they would never sell more than one bottle because no one would buy it. But yeah, you can feel it, it's really rough on the surface, you can feel all these, you can see all of the lines. However, assuming with these two products I was able to get the same high gloss finish that I get with this one with a little bit of practice, let's see how they work if I use them with a hot cup of coffee. So I'm now going to put my kettle on, I'll create 3 cups of boiling water and we'll sit them on these tiles. So here's my 3 cups of coffee. Exactly the same mug, exactly the same volume of water, exactly the same water temperature. They're boiling hot, so I'm going to leave them here on these coasters now for 30 minutes, allow them to cool, and then we'll lift them up and see if there's any sticking. So I thought, why wait 30 minutes? Because you wouldn't sit your cup of coffee there for 30 minutes, would you, before drinking it? You'd put it down, maybe you'd pick it up a couple of minutes later. So it's been a couple of minutes and let's see if any of these are stuck. This first one is the Polycrylic. Yep, that's stuck. No, it's not coming off. This one is the Sargent Art Gloss. Yep, that's stuck. I had high hopes for that one. And this one is the Mod Podge. Oh, it's a bit stuck, but then it came off. So it's less tacky definitely than the others. So now I thought I would try a hot water test. So I'm going to take a little bit of water, pop it in the middle of the tile, put the cup back on, and we'll see if the hot water does anything to the varnish. Whoop. There we go. So I've just put a little bit of water in each of those, put the caps back on top, and then I will leave them now for another 20 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and see what's happened. So it's been about another 20 minutes and I've left them all to cool down, so let's see if there's any difference. This one is the Polycrylic. Yep, that's still stuck. I take it off. There's no obvious mark. Let me just wipe it with a towel. Actually, I say there's no obvious mark, but there is. So this towel was glossed a month ago, and with the hot cup on there, it's actually got a little bit here and a little bit here. I really don't think you'll be able to see them there. Can you just see there by my thumbnail where the varnish is actually marked by the hot cup? Yeah, there's nothing else. There's a couple of little ones there too. So the varnish has actually been marked by the hot cup. Not only did it stick, but it marked. And there might even be a watermark from that spot of water. I don't know, maybe, maybe not, but otherwise nothing. This one is our Sargent Art, and yep, that one's still stuck. Oh, well that one's really bad. Can you see this? It's got an actual a ring, a mark there, and that's presumably, I'm thinking, from the water that I put there. The water is spread out and you can see that's actually left watermark in that varnish, even though that was left there to cure for a month. Let's see if I can feel anything. I can't feel or see anything on the surface in terms of where the cup has stuck, stuck to it, so it's not made any impression in the varnish. But of course the varnish on this one and this one is a lot thinner. On the polycrylic I apply the varnish really thickly, so I can understand why that one's made a mark, but this one's got a very obvious watermark with it. And then last one, this is the Mod Podge. Yep, it's stuck. Oh, yeah, it was well stuck actually. I was surprised. And let's see. So there's no, is there a watermark? No, I don't think there's any obvious watermark on this one, but there are some impressions here in the same way. I don't know. Yeah, you can see them there. You can just see them in the shine. So in the same way that the with the polycrylic, where the cut was stuck, you can see where it was stuck into the varnish just there. So I think, in conclusion, none of these are any good. They're all good for artwork, but if you want to use your painted tiles as actual functional coasters, none of these three products are going to work. So the Sargent Art Gloss, even the Mod Podge dishwasher safe, and the polycrylic, none of them are going to work to seal your tiles properly for use as coasters with hot drinks. And this one even left a watermark in it, so this one might not even work with cold drinks like cans. I don't know. So my search for the ideal solution for this will continue. I don't know if I'm going to find something. Everyone obviously says, you know, tabletop resin is the way to go because it's heat resistant, it's thick, it's, you know, it cures, it's glossy. But my budget doesn't run to that. If I sealed my tiles with resin, it would make the cost of them so much more expensive that I'd have to charge that much more, and I'm not sure that there's a market to pay that kind of price for them. So my search will continue, but thank you very much for watching with this experiment and learning a little bit more about how to seal tiles with me today.